Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to L Boxing. We're back again with another weekend recap. We got some news and notes for you guys. Salute to everybody coming through the building. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. Much appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Come on through, drop your questions. It's all good. So yeah, we're gonna start with we had two cards yesterday, this weekend, and we're gonna cover those and talk about all the happenings with that. And then we're gonna talk about some news and notes. So y'all buckle up. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of information. JC in the building. What's good with you? Our bro Mike in the building. Salute, bro. What's good? Let's be real. What's good with you, bro? Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming through. All right, so we're gonna get to it. So we're gonna start with the Queensberry card out in Germany. Yo, just my takeaways. Yo, they was loud. It was a good atmosphere. It was a lot of people, and I don't know how many people was in the building, but that was dope to see that in Germany. This is a card for Jake Cabiel versus Damian Kimba. So we're gonna work our way up. I mean, we had some prospects and stuff like that. We had the prelims, nothing really too crazy. Um, I like the heavyweight to fat, the German heavyweight. He's an Olympian. I think he won a bronze medal. He's pretty good. He had a stoppage win on this card. Um, he signed with MVP, but since this card was in Germany, he was allowed to fight, and that's dope. When the other promoters are working with the other promoters to have their guys on a card that makes sense. But Tafat looked good though. I like how he was placing his shots, the body up top. You know what I'm saying? He's seasoned, so I'm not sure how they're gonna move him, but I like to see him get at least 4 or 5 fights this year as a prospect moving up. So heavyweight division is pretty solid right now. So we have another addition to Fat. He kind of falls in the same category with Terramona. You know what I'm saying? He's in that category. Joe Loft, he fought Joe Loft in the Olympics. So pretty good fighter. Um, yo, I want to talk about Herrera next. Yo, that was a man. He got tested. Yalir Herrera versus Ricardo Nunez. That was for the WBC lightweight interim title. The winner is in position to fight the champion Shakur Stevenson, depending on what he do. But look, coming to this fight, what we know about Nunez, we know he went to Baltimore and fought Tank Davis a couple years ago. I think 2019, so a while ago actually, and he got knocked out in the second round. You know what I'm saying? It was a referee stoppage. He got hurt, and then the referees jumped in. Other than that, he just been kind of middle of the road type of fighter. Yalir Herrera came in with a lot of hype because his call outs and his YN persona. That dude like a YN from Cuba. Y'all see him. But this fight right here, he got tested. I mean, he started off pretty solid boxing and stuff like that. But Nunez landed a nice right hand to drop him in the first round. And that made shit a lot of interest. It made it real interesting. I thought Nunez was doing well. I thought he clipped the first 2 rounds, and then Herrera he got back in the fight with his speed. He started using his jab and stuff like that. It was a competitive fight. It wasn't like Herrera was washing Nunez. It was going back and forth. The tide started to change. I think Herrera he got cut in the first round, but it wasn't nothing too crazy. But I think that the fight started to change when Nunez started to get tired. He started to get tired, and then Herrera was starting to let his combinations go. But he was kind of on the back foot, moving and stuff. Nunez was the aggressive, but Yalir Herrera ended up coming through at the end of the day and stopping him. He landed a nice, I think it was a right hook that hurt him. That shit was nice. He hurt him along the ropes and he finished him off. It was a crazy kind of sequence for the finish of the fight because like the referee fell down and he had stopped the fight, but he was too slow getting over there to actually protect Nunez, and he tripped over over Nunez. I mean over Herrera. The shit just looked crazy as hell, but he did stop him. And you know what? Nunez was hurt, bro, because he was along the rope, head snapping back. That shit looked dangerous. Now maybe they could have. I don't know if they got standing 8 count. I don't know the rules and shit. I like standing 8 counts because when you do a standing 8 count, it kind of you know the guy who got knocked down that's getting counted. He knows that why he's getting counted and get his thoughts together. So you can't say it's like a hard warning that you telling the guy, bro, you got one more chance type shit. So I kind of like that because it been a lot of quick stoppages yesterday too, if you really look at it. But it is what it is. Well, questionable stoppage. The one thing about Herrera though, like I know people was high on him, and they was really high on him because they wanted to see him beat up Shakur. They ain't really. If you watch him fight, bro, he got a long way to go. He got some skills and he's talented. He's fast and got power in both hands, but his head is straight up in the air. He got some deficiencies that he got to fix if he want to step up and fight these top guys at 135. He can't, we say that he can get knocked down. He's a great athlete and stuff like that. You can see that, but he's still a young fighter. You know what I'm saying? And maybe this fight right here can get him to another level because he got tested. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And he was holding this fight too. I thought they were going to take a point, but he ended up getting through that. So yeah, I mean that's a good win. Let's see what's next for him. I know. I don't know if he's going to get the Shakur fight right away. Let's say if Shakur wins and come back to or if he come back to 35, I don't know if he's just going to get it right away. I don't know how that's going to work. But there's fights that I would like to see, like my man that just fought Mason for the title, Sam Noakes. That's a good in-house fight for Queensberry. That'd be fun. Herrera versus Nunes. That'd be a good one. So we'll see. The heavyweight fight, Salah versus Milas. I mean, this fight was alright though. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a lot of good action in this fight. Kind of going back and forth, but Salah started getting tired. Milas took control of the fight basically after like the fifth round, and he scored a nice knockout. But it was crazy. Some of the stoppages was kind of too quick or questionable, and this one was like bad. He probably should have stopped this fight way sooner. Shalaz got hurt. Then he got hurt in an exchange, fell down real heavy, and then Milas finished him off. But he was trying to get the referee to stop the fight. The ref was like, "Shit, do what you gonna do," and he ended up hitting him with a right hand and got him up out of there. But they probably should have stopped that one after the first knockdown. But yeah, Peter Milas, he moves on. He can get, he probably can get in position to fight one of these Queensberry heavyweights that they have. They got everybody damn near, so that can put him back in line. Caballero versus Kimber. I mean, look, Kimber started off real well. He dominated Caballero that first round. That was a domination. You know what I'm saying? He was touching him up. He was shooting the right hand behind the guard. He was jabbing. He landed a couple of uppercuts that round. I mean, Caballero's defense ain't look all that. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Even the whole fight. Honestly, this is probably his worst performance since since he came on the scene beating being Mamadov because Kimba Kimba was doing well. Now I know what happened in the fight. Caballero got through that and ended up stopping him, but that right there tells me a lot because there's bigger punches in the heavyweight division than Kimba. But Kimba got the first two rounds to me. I thought he dominated the first. Caballero came on in the second, but still the same type of shit. But the third, Caballero started breaking them down. You know what I'm saying? Shooting, going to the body. That's his forte. He shot a nice right hand over the top that rocked Kimba, and then he was on him after that. Caballero has a fun style. Come forward, strong guy, got a good chin. And if he get close to you, he can break you down. He got quick enough hand speed where he can kind of trick you out your position because he can hit you down low and he can hit you up top like with some quick shots. So he was able to buzz Kimba, and he eventually got the stoppage. I didn't really particularly like the stoppage, to be honest. Um, Kimber was off balance, but I felt like he wasn't he wasn't out of it. You know what I'm saying? You can make a case for Nunes being an okay stoppage because Nunes his head was bucking all over the place, but Kimber was kind of aware. So third round knockout for Caballero. He moves on. A lot of people saying he's the best heavyweight right now. He definitely deserves an opportunity at Usyk. Like I think and then after what we've seen with that fan base and how those guys came out and supported, like even in the post fight, none of those guys left. That's dope. So if they talking about doing a stadium fight next time for Caballero in Germany, so that seems like that's a big fight. If he's not gonna get Usyk, it's so many heavyweights on the Queensberry stable that he can fight. You know, if you look at the WBC rankings, Okolie is number one. They order Okolie versus Moses. Moses got a fight coming up against Jermaine Franklin, and he's actually going down the WBA route. But he has options. Let's see. That's another one. Moses, Lawrence Okolie makes sense for Cabiel. I would love a fight with Fabio Worley, but he's making a defense. They got so many heavyweights that he can just fight. But I think he deserved the Usyk fight for sure. Let's see if he get it. We know Usyk trying to fight Deontay Wilder, and let's see when that happens, and then how that throw off the timeline of Cabiel. Cabiel versus Dubois would be a good fight too. Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be a shootout right there. So, yeah, bro, that was like I said, that was a big takeaway. When I seen that crowd, I was like, yo, they loud too. That was dope. That was dope to see. Phyllis Nunez, morning. Good morning, bro. What's good with you? He said, great night of fights yesterday. Yes, sir. It was some good, yeah. It was some good, yeah, it was, bro. It was entertaining as hell. All right, here's that Matisse versus Dalton Smith card. Um, it was from Brooklyn, New York, you know what I'm saying, the Barclays Center. It was on pay-per-view. So just touch on the undercard. Keith Cologne got to stop his victory. He stopped my man in the seventh round. The guy came. He was there to survive. He wasn't really trying to win. So Keith Cologne stays undefeated, 9-0, 9 knockouts. Centron, he had a man. Yo, Centron had. I know this early in the year, but this card had a couple of candidates for some awards that I know is like I said it's early. We might forget this shit. That's why what I'm saying I'm trying to tell people to write this shit down because when at the end of every year we start to think, man, what was the knockout of the year, and we go back and forth. But this card right here probably was up for like 3 awards. You know what I'm saying? Upset, fight of the year, you know what I'm saying? Knockout of the year, and round of the year. But Centron, man, versus Sandoval. Sandoval was a late replacement. He came in and just swinging wild shots. Like the first 25 seconds, he dropped Centron. Had him hurt. You know what I'm saying? But he came back out the corner shooting a lot of wild shots, and Centron got his bearings together. Ended up dropping him three or four times and stopping him, and all in the first round. So that round right there might hold up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be too many rounds like that. That was crazy. So Centron, I know he's a 2-time Olympian. He had some injuries and stuff like that, but that was a hell of a first round. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him. Nessa Bravo had a highlight reel knockout over Pedro Campa. Knockout of the year type candidate. It's early, but it's going to be on the highlight of that. He hit him with a left hook, you know what I'm saying? He was doing real well in the fight, and Campa, he got hurt in the first round. But uh, Nesta Bravo finished him up. That was clean. He landed face first, and that was all she wrote. So, yeah, that was dope, you know what I'm saying? Like that was action packed. So the undercard was action packed. I ain't gonna lie. Even though it was behind a paywall and shit, and it was a bunch of Puerto Ricans, and a lot of people didn't know these guys. The actual fights was good. Manny Rodriguez came back to face Diaz. Former world champion. He looked sharp in this fight. He dominated like the first, I want to say, 8, 7, 8 rounds. I think the last 2 rounds, the dude started coming on strong. And he was like, fuck it, I don't got nothing to lose. And he probably got 2 of those rounds back half of the fight. But Rodriguez dropped Diaz in the first round with a check left hook. And then he was just in control, counter punching, fast hands. You know what I'm saying? He was dictating the pace, and he won a clear decision. So Rodriguez can look at 118. He's a player. Like he can win a world championship. You know what I'm saying? That division kind of got like a makeover since Junto moved up, and he can fit right in. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Let's see what they can get for him. Main event. Y'all know we got man. This shit was crazy last night. He said even though Matisse lost, good showing for fresh promotions, very exciting. Yeah, other thing I ain't like about it, they didn't promote the fight like that though, and you know what I'm saying. It was kind of I don't know. they ain't really do their due diligence, I guess, on the ground level to make that fight a big event. And from what I'm hearing, they lost a lot of money. Wasn't nobody in there. But the fights and the guys who fought, yo, salute to them. I had to give them props. All right, Matisse versus Smith. It kind of I ain't think. See, I had questions. My breakdown for this fight, I just had questions about Smith if he was going to be physically strong enough to deal with this shit that Matisse is bringing, and does he have the power to get the respect? You know what I'm saying? And he answered both questions. The fight played. It started off like how all Matisse fights start off. He don't do nothing in the first round. And I always said, bro, one day that shit gonna catch up with you. His defense ain't that good. It ain't never been that good. He get hit with a lot of shots, and I always wonder when that egg gonna crack, bro, because they keep beating on the beat. It can be some light taps, but if you keep tapping on it, one day somebody gonna come through. First round, Matisse ain't do nothing. Smith won the first round, easy money. Then Matisse started to come on second round, stuff like that. And you know he doing what he did. It was smart for Dalton Smith to stay in the ends. I thought that was smart. You know, so he was pushing Matisse back, and that was another question: was he strong enough to deal with the physicality? And he proved that he was. He was pushing him back. He actually, people say he fought the wrong fight, but yo, if a guy coming at you like that, it probably makes more sense to this. You know what I'm saying? Stand right there and hold your position and fight, and that's what he did. I think the key to the fight was Smith was when he was counter punching. He was counter punching with hard shots. He won't like trying to pity pat and trying to keep up with the work rate of Matisse. He was kind of holding his ground, landing hard shots. If you guys go watch, in a lot of those early rounds, he was landing a lot of hard shots. You know what I'm saying? Same shots that would hurt the other guys. But Matisse started coming on strong. You know, it was pretty even fight, competitive. It was just you gotta fight Matisse fight. He just so strong enough. He just overwhelms you with his pressure. You know what I'm saying? He make you fight his fight. So you're either gonna move around and have a chance of getting more tired, or you gotta stand and fight. And that's what Dawson Smith did. The fifth round, bro, was crazy. You know, Dawson Smith landed two right hands that hurt Matisse. And then I like the last sequence when he finished them up. He knew he had him hurt, but then he took his time. Took his time. Matisse uses machismo, like, come, give me some more. But he took his time, was patient, and landed a good right hand. Looked like it was on top of the ear, and finished the deal. I thought it was a solid stoppage. Well, it was an iffy. I wouldn't mind because this is a championship fight. I wouldn't mind see Matisse get one more chance, but he was up out of there. He was up out of there, and we had a lot of time left in the round. So Dalton Smith comes to New York, fight the Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying, in his backyard per se, and he get the stoppage win. So this one was gonna be up for. This was a great fight too. These guys was going at it. Now Dalton Smith did have some tactics where he was holding and whatever, but that's what you gotta do. You gotta hold. Maybe he could have got a point taken off and all that, but the key to the fight was how hard he was punching when he was countering. That shit right there had Matisse. It probably shocked the system because that was the biggest. Well, we can say that was the biggest puncher we seen him fight. You know what I'm saying? So, man, good shit though. So, like I said, it's early in the year, but when we think about it, when we look back, look, Dawson Smith can probably be up for this could be like a fight of the year kind of day because it was a lot of action and those guys were stumping. They was in the middle of the ring trading. You know what I'm saying? It was some good give and take, yo. It was some good entertaining shit. Upset of the year for sure. And Dalton Smith got his name in the hat for fighter of the year because nobody really thought that he was gonna come over and do that to Matisse. Like I said, I had a lot of questions. I questioned his strength, his power, and what I'm saying, can he maintain and weather the storm? And he did all that. So man, that was a good shit. What's next? My brother Playo's supposed to get the winner. He had a rematch clause with Matisse, but of course the WBC went with they ordered Dalton Smith. So Playo supposed to get the winner. I can see Matchroom trying to get out of that. Well, I don't know if they get out of it because I feel like they think they can win that fight too. But I can see them doing a voluntary first. You know what champions normally do: go home, sell out the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Do a voluntary welcome home type of fight, and then fight the mandatory. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, he's an elder. He used to roll with the punches and block them with his quite much better early in his career. Now he just come forward. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember he used to catch a lot of shots. Yeah, when he was when he was stopping those guys on PBC, he was catching a lot of shots and roll. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, now he just coming. Yeah, bro, you said it perfectly. And like I said, somebody gonna crack that code, bro. You can't keep getting hit in your head, bro. You just can't. And and he learned the hard way. So yeah, a lot of build up and shit to this fight too. The PED thing. Uh, at the gloves meeting, they had an issue with Matisse's glove. They found an object in his glove. Like, I don't, bro. The shit's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Matisse was like when I hear stuff like that. I feel like maybe he's not sure of himself. Of course, they say he had some tainted specimen, tainted products. You know what I'm saying? He got contaminated. I mean, bro, yo, I don't even see why motherfuckers even close enough to get it contaminated to get contaminated. You know what I'm saying? Like this boxing game is crazy that we got PEDs and shit. Like, yeah, at the when they picked their gloves, he had something in his glove, like a hard object. And Team Dalton Smith, like, hell no. Yeah, that was at the meet. Yeah. So it's too much stuff happening where you like, hold on, bro. PEDs, now he has an object in his gloves? Like, bro, I don't know. It made you want to root for Dalton Smith, to be honest. But let's see. Let's see if Matisse can come back. Maybe he move up to 47 because he's been at 40 for a long time. Matisse been at 140 for a long time. Maybe his body need to go. Maybe he need to go up if he ain't gonna take punches the same. Uh, Man, we'll see. But it was a great fight though, real good fight. All right, so we're gonna talk about some. We got some news and notes to talk about. We have some fight announcements. We got some purse bids. We got some potential fights. We got a little bit about the rankings. So we're gonna touch on it. Salute to everybody coming through the building. I appreciate it. We're gonna start with this one right here. We have the undercard of Bakram Mutazalia versus Josh Kelly. So they put out a couple of fights on this card. January 31st is for the IBF title at 154 pounds. The second title defense for Bakram. We haven't seen him in over a year since the Tim Tszyu fight. He's going into a hostile territory against Josh Kelly, who just re-signed with Matchroom. So everything is set up for Josh Kelly to win. And they said Josh Kelly even signed a agreement to fight Boots if he wins. So, we'll see. But in the undercard, they have Turhan on the card. Atif Noor Turhan. She's the biggest puncher in women's boxing. She's sleeping shit. She's back. She fought. She won the world title top of December, against Beatrice Vieira. And she's right back. She's gonna face the Australian fighter, Jinzing. It should be pretty entertaining. You know what I'm saying? But Turhan is punching. You know what I'm saying? IBF lightweight champion. We know we have some good fighters, some good champions at lightweight. Caroline Dubois. She's supposed to fight. She's supposed to unify with Terry Harper with the WBO. We just seen Stephanie Hahn beat Holly Holm. I'm not sure what she's gonna do, but Turhan fits in there with all those ladies. Hopefully, she can get an opportunity. And she just re-signed with Matchroom, and she's gonna come back January 31st. Here's the rest of the card right here. We got Josh Padley is back fighting for a European title. You know what I'm saying? Lee Rogers. So yeah, it's not like a crazy undercard. Because of course, that same day, Matchroom is doing the Shakur and Teofimo event. So they probably I can see them not doing that so crazy. But we got a big main event that's going it's gonna create some type of domino effect at 154 with Bakram and Josh Kelly. So yeah, y'all tap in. Also, January 31st. Here's the card. So they announced the undercard for this one too. Adam Azam versus Gustavo Limos. Um, this fight has been upgraded to a IBF eliminator for the number 2 spot. So, like I mentioned when I do my rankings videos, the IBF don't normally rank 1 and 2. But they only rank 1 and 2 if you win an eliminator. Right now at 140, Landolfo Delgado is the mandatory. He's number 1 for Hitchens. Hitchens is in voluntary stage, so he's supposed to fight. He's in talks to fight different people, and we're gonna touch on that later. But Adam Azam and Lemos, they're gonna fight for number 2. Lemos just entered the new IBF rankings at number 9. He was unranked for a long time, but they was able to, get that move, and now he gonna fight Azam for eliminator. So that's what's up. Undercard wise, you got Francesca Hennessy is back. She just fought recently too. She just fought what, November? She looked pretty good. She fighting for a WC silver at 122. Cross, that's a light heavyweight, the big punching light heavyweight, just signed with Boxer. So yeah, Joe Coulter, he just fought too versus Garside. That should be pretty solid. Archie Sharp is on the card. Hassan Hazem, haven't seen him in a while, but he's on here. So yeah, this is a Boxer, BBC Sport in the UK, and they normally work with Triller in the US to show their events. So y'all tap in. Zerto Ramirez is promoting the show January the 31st down in Texas. So yeah, a lot of people don't know Zerto is a promoter as well. I know he promoted by Golden Boy because Golden Boy can get him. They got more pull than him. But Zerto been a promoter for a long time. Actually, when he left Top Rank, he was doing shows in Texas. So this is one of his first shows since like the pandemic. So you got Jerry Bermontez is back. We ain't seen him in a long time. Uh, Julian Julian Delgado, he's back. He's a fun action packed fighter. Kareem Hackett is on the card. So yeah, I don't know what we can watch this at. I know January 31st is a full day of boxing though, so we gotta find a way to fit this one in. So yeah, this is Zerto Ramirez card. He gonna promote. All right, February 28th. This is a Manny Pacquiao Promotions up in Turner Stone, upstate New York. That's where the Boxing Hall of Fame is at. So we got the rescheduling of Elijah Pierce versus Alonzo Parra. These guys were supposed to fight, was it November 29th? The debut of Pacquiao's son. That supposed to be the main event, but that fight didn't happen. And this like the second or third time that fight, got canceled. So this supposed to be a WBO eliminator for Espinoza. And this is a dangerous fight for Elijah Pierce, like, because Elijah Pierce is a very entertaining fighter, you know what I'm saying? But he get hurt and drop early in fights too much for me. So it's going to be crazy. And Power can punch, so that's going to be interesting. We got Mills versus Green. Mills is a local guy from upstate New York. We got the return of Pacquiao's son. Manny Pacquiao Jr. is on the card. He had to draw his first fight. He probably should have lost that shit. And then we got the return of Cromel Moden, one of the most talked about prospects in boxing. We rarely get to see him. He's with Mayweather Promotions, and he been just under a rock. You know what I'm saying? We hear about him, and we see him going viral on social media. But a lot of times, bro, it's crazy that these young guys like him with so much popularity, we rarely see him. Even the fights that he had, it's either on IG Live or some crazy ass platform where we gotta like search the dark web to see him fight. It shouldn't be like that. Camille Moten should be in our face. You know what I'm saying? I know he's only 19. I get it. But the day and time we are in right now, everything is fast and in a hurry. And for him to have so much build up, and we talk about him more than a lot of the guys that's like contenders and champions, and we barely get to see him fight. So he's gonna be on this card as well. All right, hold up 1 second. All right, we back. But yeah, it's good to see Carmel though. Hopefully, and I think this card would be on ESPN, ESPN Plus or ESPN Knockout. So we'll have some TV for this. That's what's up. All right, so they announced this undercard too, with Jazza Dickens making his first title defense against Anthony Kakashi, March the 14th. This is St. Patrick's Day weekend. This should be fun. You know what I'm saying? Real good fight. On the undercard, you have Pierce O'Leary versus Mark Chamberlain. So this is, honestly, these two fights right here is real good, action packed. It makes sense for the weekend. So we'll see. Here's the undercard: a bunch of Irish fighters, of course. Gary Cully, he's back. Haven't seen him for a minute. John O'Carroll, you know what I'm saying? Stephen Kearns, he's a solid fighter. Thomas Carty, he's a heavyweight. He's coming off and I think he blew his knee out in a fight and he got TKO loss. So yeah, March the 14th, on the zone, this Queensberry boxing. It should be a good event. Here's another fight that was announced. This is from Uzbekistan. This is gonna be a good fight. Two guys at 140 pounds is like French contenders. Both guys lost to Batiste. Ironically, they're gonna fight May the 9th. It's a while away, but this is gonna be a big fight over there. You got Yagashev versus Jukabaliev. A good fight. Both of these guys are very similar. Southpaws, boxer punches, power punches. You know what I'm saying? So man, I'm actually interested in this fight because 140 is a deep division, and we still can have. I like to see if these guys, these contenders, are not getting the championship fights, then they should just round robin and fight each other like the number 8 versus number 9 type shit. It made for an even better division. So this is a good fight though. This is gonna be in Uzbekistan. And Galashev is a big name out there. Galashev, Joelov, MJ, Bake the Bully, those guys are big names. Jukin Baliev is from Kazakhstan, so those guys have a little rivalry. So it should be solid over there. So we have a title eliminator, WBC title eliminator at 105 pounds, Kanoe versus Cuse. This is March 28th in South Africa. So the winner of this is the mandatory for Pedro. No, not Pedro. Melvin Jerusalem, the WBC champion. So you know what I'm saying? Solid fight. Solid fight. All right, my best. So yeah, that should be pretty solid right there. March 28th. All right, the IBF they ordered this fight right here for Fajardo versus Reyes. This is a IBF eliminator at 112 pounds, and the winner is the mandatory for my guy, Mr. Mishi Yabuki. So yeah, let's see. This on paper, this is a good fight. This is gonna be an action packed fight. Reyes is a tough guy, aggressive from Argentina, good opponent, good fighter. Fajardo is from the Philippines. The styles is gonna match up real well. So y'all tap in with that. IBF just ordered that. A couple of more IBF. Well, the next couple of thumbnails is from the IBF. We're gonna touch on it. So this fight was made. These guys had a purse bid. It was going back and forth, but they made this fight for the IBF final eliminator at 154. Brandon Adams versus Kevin Ajako. This is a good fight on paper. Real good fight. We know Brandon Adams is the veteran. Ajaku is he's just he's been around for a while fighting on the French level, but he's a good fighter. He get an opportunity in a world title eliminator. This fight is going down April the 18th in Ontario, California. That's probably like 45 minutes from LA. That's where Jaime Munguia fought Sergey Derevyanchenko. That's where Jamel Charlo rematched Tony Harrison. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid venue. I've been there a couple of times. So man, this is a good fight. Very important fight. Brandon Adams signed a new deal with this local promoter in Southern California called DMG. So that he gonna work with them. It was a lot of guys, a lot of fans was thinking Brandon Adams was gonna sign with Zuffa Boxing, but it looked like he went away from that. Kevin Ajaku don't have a promoter. I know he's been working with the Collins. I think Michael Collins run his career is his manager or Jamie. So this is a good fight right here. And when we talk about 154 being a deep and hot division, I think we gotta include fights like this because this add to that. And the winner is in position to fight the winner between Bakram and Josh Kelly. So that's dope. IBF don't play around. All right, these guys look like they made the deal as well. Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres Jr. Heavyweights. This is for the IBF final eliminator. You know what I'm saying? This is a good fight for Torres. He got a solid name in the division. A guy that's kind of faded a little bit to me, based on his injury. He had a knee injury, and he got stopped by Cabier, Frank Sanchez. So we're gonna see. Now these guys, they working on a couple of dates. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing February 21st on the undercard of Barrios and Ryan Garcia. That fight should be announced pretty soon. Um, and then maybe the week later, So I'm hearing different stuff. Oh, no. Is it going to be February 21st or March 21st? They're working on the Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. They're going to reschedule that for that date, March 21st. So we'll see. We'll see which card it lands on. But it's a big opportunity for both. Richard Torres, look, I don't know if he's ready, but he's a fun fighter. Some of his fights can be kind of ugly, a lot of holding, but the majority of them be explosive. He's just coming off a first round knockout in November, and this serves as a big step up for him. You know what I'm saying? Sanchez, we gotta see if he's back to being healthy enough. You know what I'm saying, with that leg. He's coming off of surgery. Let's see how he bounced back from that. He had one fight since the surgery. It was a under the radar fight in Mexico. So yeah, let's see. This is interesting right here. All right, so we had a lot of wheeling and dealing right here with the welterweight title picture, IBF welterweight title picture. So of course we have Lewis Crocker. Lewis Crocker is the IBF champion. Now he's been ordered to fight his mandatory Leon Paro. So let's see how we got here, right? Leon Paro was supposed to fight Paddy Donovan for the IBF final eliminator, January the 16th. That fight got canceled because Paddy Donovan he pulled out the fight because he was sick. So Leon Paro and his team. I was saying this when this happened. I was like, yo, Leon Paro and his team probably go straight to the IBF and say, bro, I want to be the mandatory. And that's what happened. Now, as far as Lewis Crocker, they've been talking about him and Haney. I knew that fight wasn't gonna happen. I've been trying to tell people, you know what I'm saying? Look, that shit's not realistic. Whatever reason you wanna list, I don't think that's realistic next. They're trying to do a homecoming for Lewis Crocker. You know what I'm saying? Not saying Devin won't go over there, but man, just a lot of logistics to that. But I knew Lewis Crocker was going to either try to fight a rematch with Connor Walker or Harlem Eubank. I knew that. So it came out that Lewis Crocker petitioned to the IBF to get an exemption um, to fight Connor Walker April 18th or April 25th, something like that. So they denied that shit. They denied it because they follow their rules. Now here's their rules that a lot of people don't really ain't tapped into. When you win a vacant IBF title, which Lewis Crocker did when he beat Paddy Donovan in the rematch, you have 6 months to fight your mandatory. You have 6 months to either fight your mandatory or do a voluntary in that time period, right? So he was also what messed up the whole thing for Lewis Crocker doing a voluntary is when Paddy Donovan pulled out. When Patty Donovan pulled out, then it expedited the mandatory process for Liam Paro. So he won the title September 13th. 6 months later, March the 13th is his deadline. If he didn't have a deal made or if he didn't fight a mandatory by that time, then he'll have to fight. He got to fight his mandatory. So with Liam Paro and Donovan fighting January the 16th, that gave him a little bit more leeway because those guys they fight January 16th, take a month off, and then they go back to training camp. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be resting. In the meantime, you'll be in training camp getting ready for an April fight. But the timeline got threw off when Patty Donovan pulled out the fight. So here we go. So we're going to see. Those guys in negotiations right now, it's going to be the next fight unless Lewis Crocker vacates. But it's going to be the next fight. And Leon Paro, look, I heard Eddie Hearn talking about bringing this to Ireland. Bro, I won't be surprised if this shit go down to Australia. You know what I'm saying? Leon Paro left Matchroom. He got released by Matchroom after he lost to Hitchens. He went down to No Limit Boxing down in Australia. That's the same promoters that work with Tim Tszyu. And you see how aggressively they was moving Tim Tszyu. They moving Leon Paro the same way. He had one Welcome to 147 fight last year under their banner. He beat Jonathan Navarro. And then his next fight, he had a title eliminator. You know what I'm saying? So they weren't fucking around. He fought that title eliminator a week after Crocker and Donovan. So he was on the same schedule. So their intention was to do that fight. But the IBF was going to allow Lewis Crocker a voluntary. So they ordered Paro and Donovan. That fight fell apart. So now Paro, who already won an eliminator, he's the number 2 guy. So that's how we got here. So we're gonna see. It's interesting, yo, how this ball be bouncing. We be so quick to go off what the popular fighters say and the narrative and push a narrative where we try to push a narrative so much, but we don't realize the facts. And we should be pushing the facts and what's more realistic instead of what we want to see happen. So we can say what we want to see happen, but we also have to, drop that disclaimer. Well, let me put y'all on game. And that's what I bring here. When y'all come over here, y'all going to hear all of that. And look, let me tell y'all what probably going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Give you the behind the scenes shit. Not a lot of people going to break it down for you like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put out no information that would make people think where this is going to happen, that's going to happen, if I don't believe it or if I haven't gave you the true breakdown of it. So that's why I do what I do like that. So we're going to see. It's a good fight too. It's a good style matchup as well. Crocker is a big, strong guy. I'm not sure how long he want to be at 47, to be honest. He got a new trainer. Paro is a solid puncher. He said what he did to Matisse. He fought strong and tough in that fight. So it's interesting. And another thing too, I have to add. I try to add every little detail before I move on, right? So y'all bear with me. Leon Paro in that fight he had in September, he suffered a bad injury to his eye. His eye was looking crazy when he fought David Popov. Real good fight too. So him getting more time because the way his eye looked in September, he was about to turn right back around and fight in January. That tells me they're about their business. They're aggressive. And that tells me another thing. They might be so aggressive to try to get that fight in Australia. You know what I'm saying? So, but with this fight right here being pushed back, with his fight being pushed back, he'll have more time for that eye to heal. You know what I'm saying? He'll probably feel a little bit more confident about it because that was a quick turnaround. If y'all guys seen his eye, that shit was crazy. So that's what it is. All right, here's some more IBF news. So I've been talking about this like weekly ever since Terrence Crawford vacated his titles and retired at 168. We've been talking about Iglesias and just the landscape of 168. So we know Iglesias is the IBF mandatory. He's going to fight for the vacant title. He just got to find an opponent. They go down the list. Canelo, he said no. Munguia said no. Hamza Shiraz said no. So now we're at the number 6 position. These are the updated IBF rankings, right? Troy Williamson, like I predicted, he took Callum Simpson's spot. I've been saying this on my lives and stuff like that, and it made sense. He beat Callum Simpson was number 5. He beat him. You know what I'm saying? So he should take his spot, and obviously he did. So salute to him. He got that number 6 spot. Hamza Shiraz is going a different route. He got other options, either the WBO, which I think that's the one he gonna take, or the WBC with Billy. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Because they're supposed to be announcing his next fight real soon as well. So Troy Williamson, that's the guy, and he's been on social media calling for Iglesias. He said he'll take that fight, and for them to put him at number 6, well, they probably could have put him in at number 14 or 15. That tells me a lot. I was thinking it was going to get to number 7, the Russian Sagani, but it didn't. So Troy Williamson, he's on the clock to accept it, and he got 3 days to tell the IBF. So probably Monday or Tuesday, he got to tell the IBF if he's in, and once he get in, the IBF will officially order it. You know what I'm saying? So it don't seem like a hard fight to make. Let's see. Troy Williamson is with Matchroom. So let's see if Eddie is aggressive enough to get that fight over, you know what I'm saying, to kind of bring that fight to the UK. I think Troy Williamson is from like the Northeast. I'm trying to get my geographic of the of the UK down. I think he's from the Northeast or some shit. From like the same place where Josh Kelly is about to fight. I think he's from the same area. So if they can, like, if Josh Kelly wins and they can get Troy Williamson, man, they can do a big night out there in the Northeast. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. But yeah, that's interesting. That then Troy Williamson got the opportunity. He said, Andrew Gray, what's good with you, bro? Salute to you. So yeah, so that's what it is, man. So I expect to see Iglesias versus Williamson next. You know what I'm saying? I expect to see it. All right, so this came out this week that WBA champion Jose Armando Resendez is in negotiations with former champion Jaime Munguia. It's crazy saying Jaime Munguia is a former champion because he ain't been champion in a long ass time, and that was at 154. And he had a lot of fights since then, and he moved up 3 weight classes. That's crazy. But man, everybody want to fight Jose Resendez except Caleb Plant. He turned down the rematch clause. He didn't exercise his rematch clause. So, but everybody else want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Munguia, Berlanga, Charlo even probably want to fight him as well. But I look like they're going to make the Caleb Plant fight. So we're going to see. Now, Munguia turned down Iglesias. We know none of those big names is going to face Iglesias. We already know that. Canelo, Munguia, Hamza Shiraz, all that shit. But this one might happen. We'll see, man. I've been hearing Resendez's name linked to a lot of cards. I heard he was going to be on the undercard of Barrios and Ryan Garcia against Berlanga. I heard maybe it's Charlo. Maybe I don't know. The shit changed when he became full champion. Now everybody want to fight him except Caleb Plant. It seems like, man, that shit hurt me too because Caleb Plant is one of my favorites, right? And that revenge tour shit, bro. I'm tapped in with that. It can't be revenge tour no more if you turn down the opportunity to fight Resendez when you got a rematch clause. That's crazy to me. I don't know. So maybe that's because Caleb Plant is very determined. He bullheaded. You know what I'm saying? He don't take no for an answer, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you tell him he can't do something, he go do it. You know what I'm saying? He broke his hand going to the Uzcategui fight. Still, the hand wasn't healed, and still fought Uzcategui with basically one hand and beat him. You already know the story of Caleb Plant, and now you telling me now they telling me he gonna cash out against Charlo. Don't take the Resendez fight. This shit, man, bro. This shit had me hot the other day. I was on Twitter. Don't take the Resendez fight and get your payback on your revenge tour slogan and what he been preaching for the longest time. Don't do that. But go fight Charlo and cash out. Man, hell no. That's not the Caleb Plant that I remember. The Caleb Plant I remember, he fighting everybody. He ain't turned down nothing. He lose, he want it back. If you know what I'm saying, if shit don't work out for him, he trying to get it back. Now you telling me he on cash out mode. That right there, that shit hurt me when I heard that because Caleb. I mean, I'm a fan of these guys, right? And I like what they bring to the table. And part of the allure of Caleb Plant is how determined and motivated he is. Then you telling me he just want a bag? I ain't like that shit. So, but that's something else. I got sidebar. But this one right here, though, let's see. Far as like the matchup, it's a fun fight. To be honest, I can't see this being a bad fight. Um, you know, let's see. Let's see if Munguia get the fight. I think he got a big enough name that he should be able to get it. But Resendez is getting a lot of he got a lot of opportunities because people think he may be the weaker champion. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the guys, so we'll see. We'll see. Man, JC, what's good with you, bro? Yes, sir. All right, we got the return of Dimitri Bivol. He's talking about coming back March or April against his IBF mandatory Michael Eifert. Eifert been the mandatory. Shit, by the time he fight Bivol, he'd be the IBF mandatory for 3 years. That's a long ass time. A lot of shit happened in between that time. Bivol and Viterbi unified division. Uh, Eifert took step aside money. You know what I'm saying? So we, can't feel bad for him. So yeah, we'll see. Bivol is coming off of back surgery, injury and stuff like that. We haven't seen him since the last fight with Turbiev. He's one of the best fighters in boxing when he's healthy and he's on his game. So let's see. Let's see what they do. They said March or April. So um, we want to see Bivol versus Benavidez. I'd take the trilogy just to close the chapter with him and Beterbiev. Beterbiev is a free agent right now, so I'm not even sure what he's got cooking. And Benavidez going up to he's going to fight Zerto at 116. Excuse me, at cruiserweight. Zerto was supposed to take a tune-up fight because he coming off a shoulder surgery, but he bypassed that. He gonna go straight into the Benavidez fight, May the 2nd. So yeah, we'll see. Zuffa Boxing, y'all know they coming out with their new series and getting into boxing. So from this is they got a card coming out January the 23rd on Paramount. And this is their first show. It's at the Apex. So this is like the Apex is what they use for the UFC, like those small fights and stuff like that. That's what they was doing in the bubble. They you know what I'm saying, they had this venue. I don't think they sell tickets or nothing like that. But I know people was expecting them to come in and kick in the door and just take over boxing and shit. But it's gonna be a progressive thing because they gotta look. Let me say this: they're gonna be in position to take over boxing real soon. Well, they can't take over until they get the fighters. So right now they getting like okay fighters, right? Guys that would be on undercards. Guys will probably be like the main event of pro box or overtime. And overtime, I heard overtime is out the way too. Crazy. They're about to shut down. But the fights and the fighters that they talk about are like undercard fighters. You know what I'm saying? They solid and stuff like that, but no top guys. But eventually, when they gonna start taking over the game is when these other networks, when these other promoters start losing their networks, the network deal, and those contracts gonna start expiring with those fighters. So we know Top Rank is all of a deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. They still got guys signed to them, but eventually those guys gonna leave. Their contract gonna end, and I don't see a lot of fighters re-signing with a promotion company if they don't have a network deal or a streaming service deal. I don't see that. It don't make sense. So when that started to happen, Golden Boy is gonna be up next in June. If they start losing their fighters because the promoter don't have a TV deal, where do you think they're gonna go? They're gonna go over here. So these guys are just buying their time. This is how they're gonna take over. Once they start get the top guys over there, then they're gonna start. Right now, it's just crawl before you walk type shit. But January January 23rd. They're supposed to have another one January the 30th too. Same place. We'll see. So Callum Walsh is going to headline. He's going to face Carlos Ocampo. That's not a bad fight, but that's kind of like that's what 360 Promotions would do. So that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. With Dana White coming in, they coming in like aggressive and whatever, saying they don't want to work with the sanctioned bodies, they don't want to do nothing with the promoters. We expect for them to come in and just go crazy. Nah, I don't think they're here to lose no money. Because honestly, a lot of these cars, like the car we seen last night, is probably on the same level as what we're going to get on the 23rd. If we're being honest, I'm talking about the Matisse car and the Caballero car. You know what I'm saying? The main events was straight. You know what I'm saying? Caballero fight was good, and Matisse and Dawson Smith was fun fights. But that undercard, it's gonna be similar to what they put out. You know what I'm saying? And that undercard won't. So even though we had some good stuff happening last night, you know what I'm saying? If you look at it on paper, you're like, damn, it's pretty similar. So we'll see, man. They've been real quiet about announcing this shit, but we'll see. So yeah, I just want to talk about some what Oscar De La Hoya said, the Golden Boy. You know, he been doing his clapback shit, right? So he touched on a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. PGA's big dog, what's good with you, bro? Salute to you. So first, he was talking about the Boots and Virgil fight. It's like, bro, when it shouldn't be this hard to make a fight, right? When we start hearing this stuff, we know this fight is in trouble. You know, from the manager, from Golden, from Oscar De La Hoya, you know, it's crazy. They keep holding the thing over Booth's head for turning down the fight. The real reason why this fight ain't happening, or they going back and forth making the deal, is because Turkey not involved. When Turkey offered the fight for these two guys last year and Booth turned it down, it was for way more money than what they trying to give them now. You know what I'm saying? Now they basically coming back to, realistic, realistic situations. Turkey got a bag and he's like, bro, these guys probably made 100,000. Well, let me say they probably made that most of them make is like 1.5. This throwing out number. Turkey said, I'm gonna give you 5 million. I'm gonna give both of y'all 5 million. And those guys jumping on that shit because they're not gonna get that with their promoters. Now the Turkey is like, I'm good, bro. Golden Boy like, shit, man, you cost us money. That's my perception. They like, bro, y'all cost us a bag because you turned it down twice. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with why he turned it down or not, he turned it down twice. And Turkey is like, bro, you want to take the fight? You got 3 hours. He said, I'm gonna go do something else. All right, I'm going with him. And then he lose interest of the fight, so he's not paying for it. So now Golden Boy and their team is like, shit, bro. This dude was trying to get us this, and y'all ain't getting us nowhere close to that. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they going back and forth with that. This dude says 60-40 split, take it or leave it, and 5% to the winner. Man, what the hell type of math he got going on? 105% is crazy to me. Maybe he meant I don't know, bro. The odd ass numbers that he talking about. Yeah, that's just crazy. He should just look. What makes sense is probably do. I don't know. Give them a. Don't even say 5%. Just say I'm gonna give you a bonus. $100,000 bonus or some shit, $200,000 bonus. That makes sense to me. That 5% be throwing motherfuckers off. Maybe he was emotional and he said that. But bro, that's not a good sign when these guys keep going back and forth, this and that. I'm hearing mixed signals. You know what I'm saying from my sources and what I've been hearing. I heard one that the fight is still gonna happen. Those guys is planning for the fight, but they would like to get the ball rolling and get this fight announced before the big card they're gonna have the 31st. Before the 31st, they're trying to have this fight announced, and they're supposed to do like a little tour because these are two guys that haven't been on pay per view. The the date they're trying to do, the tentative date is March 28th, right? So you want to get this fight at least announced before the 31st. That give you 8 weeks because the guys want to get in training camp, and you gotta promote the fight some way somehow. But I don't know. So I'm hearing that the fight is actually going to happen on the 28th. But then again, you get curveballs in social media with um with what the managers say. Virgil's manager, he's been a detriment to this whole process. Like the whole process. He's been going crazy on that shit. But I understand whatever, but it just the teasing the fan shit, bro. It's that shit is old. Winston Lee in the building. What's good with you, bro? That shit is old. If you guys didn't really want to make the fight, and y'all knew how this fight was gonna get made with Boots, with the zone, all that shit. Why invite this dude in the ring? Virgil said his goal, his dream was to fight Earl Spence. Earl Spence was there at the fight when he fought Lubin. Why not call him in the ring? Because that's who you really want, and not Boots. It's okay, bro. But what happens is we get teased. We see that back and forth. We like, yeah, it's gotta happen now. Y'all done teased. Let's get it. It gotta be next. But then they threw cold water on that shit that night. Oh, we got options. We can go this way, this way, that. Bro, and realistically, those options, if they got options, it's not gonna happen right away. It's gonna happen like June, July, in the summertime. Because Fundora and y'all act like these PBC fighters is really fighting like that. Like I don't know how in the hell Jesus Ramos fought 3 times last year, and I think Pitbull Cruz fought 3 times. Those guys got a lot of favor. A lot of these other guys not gonna fight. Well, Fundora, he probably would Fundora would have got 3 if he wouldn't have hurt his hand. But that don't normally happens, yo. So Keith Thurman and Fundora supposed to get rescheduled March 21st, right? Wouldn't it make sense a week later to do Virgil and Boots? Man, you got a hell of a build up. You got a hell of a build up. You know what I'm saying? They be on the same schedule. The winners can fight each other at the end of the summer or the beginning of the fall. It's I don't know. Shit don't be making sense, but it seems like Oscar them be trying to uh, not make the fight, basically, and it's crazy. And like I don't know how long they're gonna keep holding this shit over the dude's head for turning down the fight twice. You know what I'm saying? He should have taken it, hindsight for me because I don't know. I just want to see the best fights. That's just me. But I do understand why not. Now, but it's like, what have you done for me lately type shit. I ain't trying to hear that no more. The time is now to make the fight. That's what dude was saying in the ring, and I agree with it. Because hey, look, the 154 division, all those guys are busy. Oh, the winner of Xander and Baru. If Xander wins, Xander not coming back into June. Puerto Rican Day weekend. If Bachram and Kelly, those where Bachram wins, he's not fighting to the summer because he's going to observe Ramadan. That's what February the 17th to the end of March, and then he's gonna get back in training camp for April to have an 8 week count for June. He out the picture to the summer. Even Josh Kelly, if Josh Kelly wins, they said Boots trying to come back March or April. Josh Kelly ain't gonna fight, ain't gonna win that title and go right to fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? Then Boots gotta drop the WBA interim so he can get ranked back in the IBF. But it's a lot of look. It's a lot. I know people don't want to hear about these rankings, but yo, these rankings be telling you just about everything. So it's a lot of willing and dealing. So look, does it really make sense for Boots to drop the WBA interim where he's in position to fight the winner between Xander and Baru? You know what I'm saying? He can pressure them. That should be his backup plan. Pressure them. Pressure pressure them and say, bro, let me get that. Um, let me get that fight. They fuck around, upgrade. So they mess around, upgrade Boots. I know another backup plan for Boots if we don't get the Virgil fight is Israel Majimov. Israel Majimov is coming back on January 24th. He's going to fight on the undercard of Mortala and Andy Cruz. And he's the co-main event. He's fighting a career 140 pounder. So if that don't screams out, we got something next for you, then I don't know what does, because they don't put look if he's coming back off a knee surgery and he's why would they put him in the co-main event spot? That co-main event should be Khalil Cole and Jesse Hart. It should be. That's the better fight. Nah. they put him as a co-main event. Same thing they did to Edgar Berlanga. They put him in the co-main event to Ammo last year. Y'all remember that shit when he fought that dude? So that that is putting Majimov in position where he can win, look good, shake off the rust, and then they're probably if Virgil don't make the fight, then it's gonna be Boots and Majimov, probably for the WBA regular. And let me tell you why I'm thinking this. By that time, we're gonna have a unified champion. Hopefully, we don't have no draw. The only time you can have a regular champion in a division if you have a unified champion. So same thing with Boots. When Boots was at welterweight, he was the unified champion. So they blessed off on Rolly versus Ryan Garcia for the regular title, because that elevates when you win the unified title, they elevate you to super champion. So you'll be the WBA super champion as you know when you're unified. So then they can justify doing Majimov versus Boots for the regular title. You know what I'm saying? So that basically means uh, he'll be like next in line. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. It's different from the interim. So I can see that. I think Majimov is a backup plan, and he probably makes more sense for Boots in house, because I feel like it's a lot of willing and dealing you got to do with the IBF and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy that those guys are not so ambitious to make that fight, because look how he was talking about. I'm talking about going back to Oscar. How excited he was talking about working with PBC. Then he criticized Eddie for wanting to make a fight, putting all his eggs in one basket to make a fight. That's just crazy. So the narrative has switched. It went from last year that Boots was ducking and he was duck Boots, all type of shit, right? Now it's switching. Virgil don't want to fight. Your team don't want to fight. And that's I don't know if that's gonna really matter in the whole grand scheme of things. But it's just crazy for boxing fans. That shit crazy, yo. It's crazy that these guys they make it so hard to make a fight where it's right there. There's no really hindrance in that. So it is what it is. Another thing he talked about was announcing the Barrios and Garcia fight for February 21st. So let's see how that shapes up. They say they're gonna announce it on Monday, so we all tapped in tomorrow to see what they bring to the table. Um, let's see. They're working with PBC, so like I mentioned, I'm gonna go back over it. These are the names I've been hearing for that card. I mentioned Jose Resendez, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be Munguia on that card. But that would be dope. You know what I'm saying? That's a good fight. But I did hear it may be Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres on that card. Um, it came, and I know this fight right here is supposed to be on that card too. Mark Masayo versus Michael Manisi. That's the WBC eliminator at 130. They were supposed to fight on the 31st, but they kind of pushed it back. They're gonna fight on the 21st. Got confirmation of that. And also, like another undercard fight, Atif Overton. I talked about this last week. Atif Overton versus Juan Carrillo, light heavyweights. That's going to be on this card too. So probably on the prelims. Another fight that, man, I've been trying to see this fight for damn near a year. It seemed like. Because Gary Antoine Russell beat Rayo, what? What card was that on? I can't even remember no more. These guys be so inactive. Uh, was that the Tank card? I think it was a Tank card. Tank and Roach. But that's damn near a year. I know he had a mandatory with Andy Harako. Harako, he been out the ring for over a year. You know what I'm saying? Going on 18 months. It's crazy. But this fight is also talked about to be on that card. I know it's not the fault of the fighters. It's the fault. This blame goes to the people who making these fights because it tells you the value that they really have for their champion. Because it's so this fight was supposed to happen in June under the Roach and Tank card, Tank and Roach. That fight got postponed. Then they said August. Then that fight got postponed. Then they made this fight for the Jake and Tank card in November 15th. That shit got postponed. When they took Tank off the card, they took off this fight too. You know what I'm saying? So now that fight supposed to be in November. It was announced. Now these guys not gonna fight till February. Shit's crazy. But this is supposed to be on that card, so I expect to see this fight announced. It's already done. These guys gotta fight each other. They can't unify. You know what I'm saying? Antoine can't unify. That's why people are saying Hitchens. How you can't? Hitchens not. You can accuse Hitchens for not saying Antoine's name, but you can't really accuse him of ducking if the dude already got a fight signed sealed. It just don't got no date. So we'll see. Antoine versus Andy Hirako. That's man. Hopefully they get that fight announced and it can happen. And then it came out about Hitchens. Nice little segue. Him and Duarte. So this is not a bad fight. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be on this undercard as well. I also hearing another date. I'm hearing that it could go the 28th on the undercard of Nunes and Navarrete. So we'll see. But this is a fight that's in negotiations. They're working on. Now, these guys got here different ways. Duarte was supposed to fight Regis uh, February the 13th in the Honda Center. But that obviously, I guess Golden Boy. I don't know. I guess they scrapped that date, and they're gonna throw some of those guys that they was gonna have on that card, on the Ryan Garcia card, the pay per view. You know, Floyd Schofield was supposed to fight JoJo. You know what I'm saying? So that fight could possibly be like on the prelims or something. I don't know. We're gonna see. But Hitchens, Hitchens is taking a bad rap in the media. Some is deserved, some ain't. We know about the Jermaine Ortiz thing. When you negotiate with Turkey or when you negotiate with these guys, you're not really negotiating with each other. It's not team Hitchens negotiating with team Ortiz. It's a middleman, maybe two or three middlemen, and y'all know how information get crossed up. Y'all know that shit. By the time you get to the 10th person, you done said some old crazy shit. Y'all know how that is. So the fight didn't work. Jermaine Ortiz got the Keyshawn Davis fight. So we really can't be mad because it's a good fight. Hitchens got the duck label on him. So a lot of people want to see the Frank Martin fight. I want to see the Frank Martin fight because Frank Martin coming off a highlight reel knockout. His name is buzzing out there. And I think that's a great fight to have when a guy on there on a high momentum. But like I said, I take it back to the basis, bro. You know what I'm saying? I take it to the basis. Michael James 616. What's good with you, bro? I always take it to the basics. When we start talking about fights and when we start hearing these reports about fights being done and this, that, and the third, what I do, I go to the rankings, bro. I go to the rankings. That shit tells you everything you need to know. Why? Because they always put these guys in position because that's what you have to figure that out. Shit, you gotta figure that shit out first. When you doing these, when you making these fights and you gonna fight for a championship, you gotta figure out how this sanction fee is gonna work first. You gonna fight the IBF champion. You need to get in the rankings because they want their bread. We know how this shit works. Do I agree? Still don't understand why they gotta pay for a belt. But this has been a system they've been doing the whole time. So you trying to tell me Earl Spence Jr., who called out Hitchens, PBC, who been in the game for a minute, they know the game, they know what it is. They can't get Frank Martin ranked in the IBF. You know what I'm saying? They can't get him ranked, and we know Hitchens has a short window. Hitchens has a mandatory that's coming up, Landolfo Delgado. He's in the voluntary stage, but he has a certain time period to make that fight. So he has to fight in either he has to fight. He has to fight before February. He has to, or if he don't fight before February, they're going to order that fight with Rodolfo Delgado. So he didn't have to take that fight right now. Maybe he probably should have to get it out the way, but they're looking at Duarte, and Duarte is actually a solid opponent. Like, don't get it twisted. Hitchens said that he said that he's going to fight somebody that's better than Ortiz. Me personally, I think Ortiz is a little bit better than Duarte. You know what I'm saying? I just like he's a little bit more versatile, better defense, stuff like that. But Duarte got a tough style. This style right here gave Hitchens trouble. Gustavo Limos is a come forward pressure fighter throwing wide hooks and stuff like that. This is what Duarte brings to the table. So it's not a bad fight. Like, even comparing Duarte to Frank Martin. So the three guys, who is better? Duarte, Frank Martin, or Jermaine Ortiz? You can make your case for either one. You know what I'm saying? Depending on whatever and who deserve a fight and whatever. I can make a case for Duarte. You know what I'm saying? If anybody can make a case for any Frank Martin or whatever, I can make one for Duarte. Here's my case. He been at 140 for the longest time. He got a higher ranking. You know what I'm saying? He beat Kenneth Sims that was a good ass win. You know what I'm saying? I thought he edged it out down the stretch, but that was a good fight. He beat Bakhtir Akhmadev, another good solid fight. So he got two really good wins at 140 as of recently. You know what I'm saying? He beat Matt Duano too, but that was late notice and stuff like that. So he been at 140. Compared to Frank Martin, he only had one fight at 140. That was against Rancis. Like, that was a hell of a knockout, but that's not so crazy where your first fight you should just leapfrog everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And obviously his team feels the same way because they called him out, but they ain't enforce and go get at the IBF to get in the, because why not rank him? It's guys in that ranking that we ain't never heard of. We know Frank Martin and shit. So the popular shit is push for Frank Martin and Richardson Hitchens. But that shit don't always make sense, and maybe it don't make sense for the team as well. I'm just reading what they giving me. So let's see if this fight happens. Now Hitchens, he taking a lot of heat. He gonna take a lot of heat because how brash he is in his interviews, and then he got the perception as a duck. That shit with Matisse, he ducked Matisse. He did. Clearly, he ducked Matisse. He did not want to fight Matisse. You know what I'm saying? When he beat Lemos after a tough fight, he started talking about he said he need 2 or 3 more fights. And you the mandatory. He said, facts, Dub. You the mandatory for Matisse, and you say you need a couple more fights to get ready for him. That's nasty work. Then when Leon Paro beat him, he was the biggest cheerleader. That boy, man, as soon as Leon Paro won that title, this dude executed his mandatory so fast. And he was like, hell nah. I'm the mandatory. He got to fight me. He didn't want that fight. And then he never really say Antoine's name. That don't mean he ducked him. He didn't never really say his name. So I get the perception of it, right? He said that Duarte is better, and people, people can say what they want. You know what I'm saying? It's their opinion on who is better. I feel like Duarte, Frank Martin, Jermaine Ortiz, those guys is like in the same box. The good high level fighters that they can probably possibly win a world title or beat one of your favorite fighters. So I ain't tripping off this fight, to be honest. Well, what's gonna hurt? He said twerking for Paro. You know what I'm saying? Paro best man be two division world champion pretty soon. So this is what's gonna get him. I can see the narratives right now. I see it because they don't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? They don't fuck with Hitchens, so they're gonna come at his ass. Once they see that he's on the if him being on Ryan Garcia's undercard, they might not trip too much. They might still say some shit, but they ain't gonna trip too much. But if he go on the undercard of Nunes and Navarrete in Arizona, a black man in Arizona with them essays, bro, they gonna go crazy on him. They don't know this yet because it ain't came out. But once they see that, bro, he gonna catch a lot of heat. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be picking Duarte to beat him. They want to see. I don't understand. Like if a fighter talking shit, whatever, or they don't like them, they want to see them lose. Or the next opponent, like they want to see Shadeja fight Carissa. You know what I'm saying? They don't really. They just want to see. They hoping Shadeja can beat her. They don't trust Franchon, so they're not gonna give her no leeway. Nah, we don't trust y'all. Y'all friends. But then they want to see Keyshawn and Shakur fight. They friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they want to see a fighter that they don't fuck with get humbled, so they can go run with the narrative. That's just all that is, because they would the same thing with Hitchens. They want to see him get cracked or get hurt or get something like that because they ain't messing with him right now. But I think he beats Duarte. It can be a tough fight. Let's see what he learned from the Limos fight. But yeah, we'll see. So just to round it up though, that I'm expecting. I'm not sure 100%. I'm just telling y'all guys what I expect for the Ryan Garcia and Barrios card. I don't think Hitch is gonna be on that card. I don't know. I think he's gonna go on the Arizona card with Matchroom, but we'll see. But I think Frank Sanchez and Torres land on that card. I think they do. Uh, Mark Masayo and Michael Manisi, and then Teef Overton. I think he's gonna land on that card too. But we'll see. Maybe Floyd Schofield get on there. Maybe Floyd Schofield get on there for sure. If, they're not gonna do their February 13th date, so maybe Floyd Schofield is on there. We'll see. So we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out this week. Who you got? I like Hitchens in the fight. I think Hitchens can outbox him for sure. You know what I'm saying? I think he can outbox him. I mean, he gotta be careful though with those hooks and stuff like that, and Duarte being rugged. But Duarte can get outboxed for sure. We'll see. I'm just saying, I like the Duarte fight just as the same way I like the other two. I like Jermaine Ortiz fight for Hitchens. I like Frank Martin fight, but that don't mean that they are so much overwhelmingly better than Duarte. Because Duarte is a tough style too. He's strong as hell. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll see. That's my time right there. Salute to everybody coming through the building. I appreciate it. We'll be back probably Tuesday. We got to talk about this upcoming fight week. We should have the WBC rankings come out this week. They come out, we're going to touch on that, and then just stay locked in for the updated news that's coming out this week. We should have some fight announcements like February. Shit, we in the middle of January basically. So the Riyadh season card for February the 14th should be announced pretty soon. Uh, we should be hearing news about the undercard of Nunes and Navarrete. That's February 28th. Uh, the PBC and Golden Boy working together. So yeah, bro, we should be hearing some more news about Zuffa boxing. Yeah, bro, y'all stay tuned. Salute to everybody coming through the building. I appreciate your time, and I'm out.